All right, I want to tell you about something that I wish I had when I first started Mary Kay. I feel like I have let a ton of people slip through the cracks because you either didn't get back to them or they didn't get back to you, and you didn't have a way to remember those people's names, and you didn't have really a tracking system, so you didn't know when to call them back if they did say to call you back. And you might put it on the calendar, you might not, you might remember to call them, and you might not. And so what I love about this system, it's called the 21-day revolution, and it was made by someone that worked for a different company, direct sales company, and she was building her business and she got up pretty high in the company, and she just realized that she wasn't really getting compensated for the amount of time and effort that she felt like she was putting in, as well as what she was worth. And so she actually started working for a networking company, and she gave it her all. She ran full out, and she still just didn't feel like it would work. So if anyone feels like network marketing is the same thing as Mary Kay, it is not. We're direct sales. And so she actually found Mary Kay and fell in love with the company, fell in love with the products, and decided to put the system that she started in the other direct sales company in Mary Kay. And it is phenomenal. And I so wish I had it early on in my business. So I want to show it to you today, because if you want to move up fast in this business, if you want to make some really good money, this is where it's at. This is where your accountability is, and your daily efforts is really going to shine through, and you'll be able to see what you're doing every single day. And I feel like it can be from hobby level all the way up to someone that wants to be a car driver and a director in the next 4 to 6 months. Like, you can fit this into your system and make it work for any one person. Okay, so it's called the 21-day revolution. What you're going to need is, you're going to need your date book, your Mary Kay date book. You're going to need some highlighters. You're going to need some recipe cards like these, and you can either use the 3x5 or you can use 5x7. And then you're going to need, if you are wanting to really move up, I have a system that you can also use when you need to do your 2-day, 2-week, 2-month follow-up for your customer service. And so I'm going to show you what I do here. Now, the easiest way as a new consultant, if you don't want to get the filing system, you can start it off and you can put your names written down in highlighted like this. Okay, so this was one of my days, and it was just the day. You can write down all the way down here, and the different colors of the highlighters means different things. So I highly recommend you watch the other 21-day challenge, the Google Hangout that Lisa Madsen did. She is like tried and true. She doesn't change what she does. She just, if it works, why not? You know, like, I'm not going to change it. And so when she decided she would bring up this 21-day revolution, I really took notice. And so she had some amazing directors that did amazing things in their business. And so I'd love for you to watch that Google Hangout. You can also watch the other video that the girl that came from the direct sales did. But basically, the yellow highlighter represents anyone that you've called but you didn't necessarily get a hold of. I used orange for anyone that I contacted and talked to live. You can use blue if they've texted you back. So if they responded from, say you left them a voicemail, and then they texted you back, or you send them a text and then they texted you back, you can do green. And then if they book, you can do pink. Okay, so if you want to do like an interview, if you want to do another color for something else, you can use green or purple. But those are the ones that I use the very, very most of. So you just write down their name. You can do their number as well underneath if you're just doing the 10. If you're doing more than that, I found that the best way, I always was struggling with customer service follow-up. I had tried lots of different ways, and I know that Mary Kay is trying so hard to make everything so simple on us, but I just tried a lot of different things that just nothing really sit well, and I didn't do. And if it might work really well, but you need to put it into action. And so if this is what I figured once I started doing the 21-day revolution, if you're going to be doing that anyway, and you're going to be using that file system, why not utilize it for customer service as well? And so that's why I decided to get this. Now, it's a 13-day pocket. You can either use hanging files or you can use manila envelopes. So if you can see that, this is the very first one I made. I just want you to know that it doesn't have to be perfect, okay? You can make it look however you want. Hanging files does make it look a little bit more neat, and they're all even, okay? But you have 1 through 30, and then back here you can see that these are months, okay? So back here, June, July, October, August, you know, they're obviously in order, but it is 1 through 31, and then it's the, I usually have anywhere from 4 to 6 months in the background, and then anyone that's booked, I have a book file at the very back, and I put their file there. Now, if they've booked and then they ended up rescheduling, or they canceled or didn't show up, I know to look in that book file every once in a while to see if I actually have seen them. And if I've seen them, then I usually will have a customer profile or a receipt, and you can either put the information that they bought on that receipt or on that 3x5 recipe card, or you can put their customer profile in there. So you can do it in multiple different ways. You can staple their recipe card to their customer profile card if you want. When I'm doing my 2-day, 2-week, 2-month follow-up, I usually put the sales receipt in. So if I saw them on the 10th, then I'm going to find my number 12 in here, and I'm going to file away her receipt in day 12. And so when I look on day 12, I know that it's a receipt and I need to follow up with product. And then I'm going to put her, count 14 days after that, which would be the 16th. I would put her then in the 16th. And then obviously after I talk to her in the 2-week, then I would put her in 2 months after that. And so this really works so well. I've tried everything under the sun. I've tried to do it digitally through Evernote that worked really well, but I wasn't inputting the names all the time. And so if I'm already booked, if I already booked them, and if I have a sales receipt that's already filled out because they purchased product, why not use that? So I know that it's a paper system, but I really do think that it can work for so many different ways. You can even use it to follow up with interview follow-ups, and put the interview what do you think forms in here. There's a lot of different things that you can use it for. So anyway, I just want you to know that I really love this way, but if you want to start off doing the date book way, you can do it that way. The way that the recipe cards work is I always will put the person's name up here on the top left. Then I put their number in the middle, and then how I met them. So it could have been a referral, it could have been an expo, it could have been, you know, a friend. If it was just a friend that I know, then I don't necessarily put their name in. But if someone referred them to me, or if I got them through my personal website through Mary Kay, then I'll do it that way, okay? So I do name, number, and then referral. And then I start putting in numbers. So it will see 6/16 or 6/10. So I called her on June 10th. And then I would put 6/13, okay? And so she booked. The color yellow was I didn't get a hold of her the first day. Then the second one is I did book her. And then I put booked, and I put the day on when she booked, okay? And then I also will take notes right here. So this gal actually recruited, okay? So that's how I know what's going on. But if, say, someone told me that she was pregnant, she was going to have a baby, and she, you know, wanted you to follow up in 2 to 3 months, you would then figure out, obviously, you know, this month is October, then you would go November, December, January. If she told you to call in 3 months, if she told you to call in 2 weeks, you would know, you know, today's the 10th, I'm going to count 14 days and it would be the 24th. Okay. So there's always a day you can put these cards in. If you don't want to do 31 pockets, you can do just days of the week, Monday through Saturday, and you can either do 1 week of them or 2 weeks of them and then do the months, and you can do it that way. But I always like to have a specific day to put every single person in. And so that's the way that I liked the very most of. But like I said, there's tons of different ways that you can do it, okay? So I have tons of recipe cards that just have different information, okay? And that's really the gist of the 21-day challenge. And you call 10 people a day. That's the system. You call 10 people a day, and then after you call and then you text them. I like to call them earlier in the morning or afternoon, and then I text them a couple hours after or in the early evening. And so then there's 2 different time frames that they're getting a message from you. And so it's like, oh, if I forgot to call her back after I saw her voicemail, then I give her a couple of hours and it's like, oh yeah, I was going to message her back or whatever. And so that's the way I prefer. I know a lot of people just call and then send a text message immediately. So you can do either way. It doesn't really matter, but I personally like to wait a couple hours. Some people will forget, and so that's the reason why they do it immediately. Okay, so that's really the 21-day revolution. Pretty simple, right? When I just want you to know, when I've been a director before, and I went to a retreat in October of, I think it was 2014, and I just decided I didn't want to be mediocre, and I was sick and tired of being sick and tired, and I wanted to move up, and I wanted to move up fast, and I wanted to be a director. And so I decided I was going to get 20 bookings, okay? 10 bookings is like the minimum in Mary Kay. Mary Kay, if you want to have build a business, 10 bookings is where you should be at and you should stay at. Mary Kay always said she never met a consultant that was unhappy with 10 bookings. Now, if you want to earn a car and you want to become a director and you want to do it pretty quickly, you want to be getting up to 20 bookings. I promise you. When I went through DIQ this last time, it was such a simple DIQ process. I promise you. If you want a simple way to earn your car and become a director, get to 20 bookings and never get below it, okay? It makes the world of difference, okay? I didn't have any. I had 0 bookings, and within that weekend I went to 20, and then by that Monday I had 24 bookings, and majority of them were parties. And so I felt like I had no one to contact, but it was through I just found everyone. Make your wedding list, make that 150 contact, and I know that you will be able to accomplish it, because there are so many people that you know. Everyone knows 200 people that you don't know. So just go ahead and don't prejudge, because some of the people that you think will do it don't. And some of the people that you don't think will do it will totally be super excited and flattered that you asked them. So don't prejudge. Always talk to everyone. Talk to everyone within your 3 foot. That's another Mary Kay rule, okay? So 21-day challenge revolution is where it's at. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Much love. Enjoy.